So one thing I will mention about doing dry January this year, particularly on a really bad, difficult year for me, um, which I found really tricky this time. I found it really tricky to do dry January this year. Last year, funny enough, it was really easy. I don't know, but this year I really struggled at times, and yeah, I found it a lot more difficult this year. Um, So, yeah, I think it was really useful to find out a few things about it this year. But one of the things I noticed is because it was so hard and because I really, really kind of wanted to have alcohol to relax me, I had to find a lot more newer ways to kind of cope. And I am going to do another video about my coping mechanisms and my little book um, quite shortly. But yeah, I think it was really good for me getting back to drinking this time because, and I say that sounds like it that was the be all and end all. But actually what I noticed was that because I've tried all these different ways to make myself feel better, I now have like this huge kind of list of things, which means that I now have a comparison. Um, so every time that I was like, oh, I really could do with a drink, I found really, really important coping mechanisms, which has actually meant that coming back to alcohol hasn't felt as the alcohol didn't feel like it felt before. So, because I've had to find new ways and I've had to really work this time to find new ways, coming back to alcohol, it didn't feel as rewarding as it used to. Um, and I didn't want to drink as much. So I had a little bit of wine when we were out, but actually I stopped quite early. And we actually ended up taking, because we weren't driving, so we went on a bus into like our local little town. And basically, um, the fact that I I we stopped early with the drinking, which meant that actually we ended up bringing back half a bottle of wine with us. So we actually didn't want to drink anymore. So it was really good to know that you know now I've got a better kind of way of saying no, and I feel more comfortable without alcohol, or saying no to alcohol a bit more. Because obviously I've been through a hard experience without alcohol, which was mainly the time that we went to that event. That was possibly my hardest experience not having alcohol, and I felt really uncomfortable. And I really, really wanted it that night because it was free. It was like, oh, come on, why not? um, so I had every reason to do it, and I think having that strength and knowing that I don't need it was really, really cool. So it means that now there are smaller situations that I'm facing, and I'm feeling like, yeah, I can face them without alcohol because I faced worse, you know? Um, I do believe this is what you call exposure therapy. Um, in psychology, they call it exposure therapy. And when we were studying it, it's quite an interesting thing because part of me, I understand. Um, I have autism, and I know that I don't have I'm not one of the I don't really know what you call someone who has more needs, who struggles a lot more than me. But I'm not um like that. I don't have as many needs as some people do. And so I'm looking for ways to grow as a person and learn different ways to um help myself that are not going to be, because there are people out there who have autism who can't help themselves and are unable to, you know, um, communicate at all and things like that. I think um, being an adult, getting to this stage where I'm an adult now, and I've been diagnosed with autism. Of course, I have certain difficulties, but I think that there are also things that I can cope with as well. So I'm learning to kind of understand myself and um, manage myself in situations better, but also trying to listen to what I've learned through psychology and what I can kind of bring to the table to help myself, support myself as a person. Because I do believe that as we grow older, we have to become our own kind of parents in a way. We have to like act act like we're the child. And how would I look after a child if I was a parent. And you'd put yourself to bed early, and you'd you'd soothe yourself in times of need. If things were scary, you'd try to calm things. And I've tried to do that, a little bit of that with myself as well. But exposure therapy is a really interesting one, and it's just literally putting yourself out there until you feel comfortable. I did it with this, actually. I did it with this channel, just putting myself out there in uncomfortable ways, knowing that I was sitting there in a dressing gown, not 100% made up. And I've noticed that doing that has just given me a little bit more confidence. And so yeah, I think in a way, having a drink um yesterday was nice, but it reminded me that there are other ways that I can calm myself. And so I think putting myself out there and not drinking has been an exposure therapy for me. It's like get yourself out there even though you haven't got alcohol, to calm you or make you feel more social. And yeah, I think the more you do that, or the more I do that maybe, especially with my level of autism, which I don't think is too intense. Especially now as an adult. I mean, I don't want to kind of say that autism isn't a bad thing for people, and I think that it can be a negative thing. But I think for someone like me who's got to an adult and has been through jobs and been through challenges without knowing that I was autistic, I think my kind of autism is, it's difficult to say really, but it's kind of not too much that I can't cope with life altogether. Um, so I'm trying to, yeah, help myself really. And there we go.